Recognize the floor is yours.
Well, I want to thank the chair very much for that consideration. Hi, thank you very much for appearing before the subcommittee and for doing an important job. First question I'm going to ask you is about the 287G program, because the secretary somehow didn't know whether or not there were more or less, local jurisdictions who are part of the 287. He didn't know whether there's a trend in decreasing or increasing. Maybe you know. I mean, I thought the secretary should know that, but maybe you know. What's the trend in 287G cooperation?
Well, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. It's been under review and on hold since early '21, so there's been no new agreements since the end of '20.
Right. How many have been ended since then?
The most recent, I have to take that as a get back to see how many have ended in those 3 years. But the latest ending was at the end of 23, I believe.
Right. So when the secretary came in and said he's doing everything he can to keep our communities safe, I take it that it was this administration that basically ended the program.
It's been on hold since.
It's been on hold since. So I don't understand. Can you explain to me how that protects communities by suspending new agreements under the 287G?
No, sir.
Okay. I didn't think you could, because it's intuitively obvious to anybody who thinks about it that obviously if you care about protecting communities, 287G is a valuable tool, and this administration doesn't want to use a valuable tool. Okay, I get it. I think the secretary should have known that, but look, I don't get it. Anyway, in the ERO part of the, I had a question because it said in your testimony here that commercial and charter flight services continue to increase. Now, why is that? My impression was that we are not deporting as many people. Well, it's about the same number, I guess. So are these the flights that transport people into the interior from the border?
No, sir. No, these are decompression flights moving people from one part of the border to another. These are not interior flights. We haven't ever removed anyone to the interior.
Okay, so that's another branch of the agency does that. Flights.
No, I'm not aware.
Who's chartering the midnight flights? That's all I want to know.
It's not us.
Okay, good, because we can't even get answers about, when these midnight flights arrive, what, notification that they're sending them into your district, things like this that a member of Congress probably ought to know. So you're decompressing to other detention facilities, to other processing facilities. When when we were down at Del Rio, I mean, we were there a couple weeks after they had 8,000 people in one day. So what's the decompression? Is it for people who've already gone through the CBP process? What's the
It could
decompression?
be a little bit of above. So like if Arizona is seeing surges as an example, and they're getting overrun, they just don't have the capacity there to deal with that, we may help with CBP and move those individuals through decompression maybe into Texas or other parts of the border. So back and forth and move individuals around the different detention centers or areas where we can have more capacity to deal with the numbers.
Okay, and I imagine as these numbers increased in the last fiscal year of people who are need to be processed, that's the reason why these flights, I guess, have gone up. I imagine, is that right?
That's
the
correct.
Decompression. Okay.
That's correct.
Last brief period of time I have, I'm going to discuss a problem in Maryland because there are counties in Maryland, like Montgomery County, just to the north of here, where the county executive strangely claims that they are not a sanctuary county, but according to a story of February 28th, ICE has issued 119 detainers in fiscal year 2024 in the county, and ICE says none of those have been honored. Is that true to the best of your knowledge? In Montgomery County, Maryland, ICE has correctly issued 119 detainers, and none have been honored as of February?
That specifically, I don't know. I will have to get.
If you could get back to me and confirm whether that's true or not, because I'm reading in a press report, and goodness knows you can't always trust a press report. But that being said, there were two fairly high-profile cases in Montgomery County where detainers were issued, where in one case the detainee was subsequently arrested for being part of a murder of a 2-year-old, as I recall. And then another one with another violent crime. And fortunately, because I just looked at the ICE website, I think it might even be today or yesterday, there was a press release about how ICE has in fact despite the best efforts of Montgomery County to let this person prey upon Marylanders, ICE has arrested that Salvadoran and detained them. So congratulations for doing it, despite the best efforts of some of our, and I put in air quotes, leaders in Maryland who continue to make these jurisdictions, who brag about these jurisdictions as sanctuary jurisdictions, and turn a blind eye to the crime problem that you and your agency are trying to solve. So thank you very much for your service. I yield back.
Thank you. The chair now recognizes the